Hello, everyone. My name is John Harrison, and I will be your instructor for this semester for this section of EP1. This is week one, and so this will be a basic class introduction of what we're going to try to do, we can expect, and and a little bit about me. I've been working at CNUE for a few years now, but I don't live in Chuncheon anymore. I live in Gyeonggi-do, Hanam. So I do have to commute when we go into in-person classes rather. So we'll have most of our communication online, so it's all easy peasy lemon squeezy. This class is focusing on pronunciation, speaking, and teaching those two skills. So we're going to be working together at developing lessons and teaching and developing our awareness of pronunciation, focusing more on English pronunciation, but overall pronunciation. Be aware of what we do with our mouths when we make these sounds that we call talking. So hopefully we'll have a good time together. This week is an introduction week, but so we have a few short segments explaining what to expect and what's going on, but also be sure to check on eClass for more information. Always be sure to check on eClass. Let's get started, shall we? Let's talk about what we're going to do in this class, what our expectations are, and where we're going. So first off, as you can tell from the schedule, this is a companion class, a Professor Chu's EP1 class. While in her class, you'll be focusing more on the theory of English pronunciation. In this course, we'll focus on the application and practice of that theory. So I'm not going to dive too deep into the different definitions of the different phonemes and sounds of English, but we're going to be working a lot with how we make those sounds and actually making those sounds. And also, we're going to be focusing on improving your enunciation, make you better aware of it, make you more aware of it, or make you aware of it, of how we enunciate, how we pronounce sounds, how we understand phonics and pronunciation better. This should help us also with our overall understanding of phonics. But also, we will be developing our teaching skills as well. And you'll be making lessons. Now, because of how our semester is made, with mostly being online, you'll be making video lessons. That's just the fact of the matter. And so we'll be working on preparing documentation for lessons, making the lesson plans, understanding the needs of the students, and working to fit those needs with direct activities and lessons that will help develop your students, your future students. Something that is quite important we're doing in this first year is making the mental change from student to teacher. And that's where we're going. That's one of the big objectives of this class. The first being English pronunciation, yes. The second is becoming a teacher, starting to become a teacher, making a lesson, teaching students, thinking, how can we get elementary school students to be engaged, interested, and improved through our activities? Now, because of time and physical limitations, we won't be making full lessons. We won't be making 40-minute lessons. We'll be making micro lessons, things of 5 minutes, of 10 minutes. So nothing too stressful. But all these lessons will be focusing on pronunciation, on speaking and listening, being able to make the proper sounds in English and understand and distinguish these sounds in English. About me, very quickly, my name is John Harrison. Contact information is on eClass. Since this video is publicly available on YouTube, I don't like posting too much, but public email, jharrison@cnue.ac.kr. And text message to my phone is okay. There's the phone number. If you email or text me, make sure you include your name, grade, major, and class in your message so I can better know who you are, what your situation is. And then when you ask your question, I can help you. I can help you a lot more. My memories isn't what it used to be, and I teach how many students this semester? This about 120 students this semester. If you can give me identifying information, it helps. But also, since I'm not seeing your faces, I really don't know you from anyone. So identifying who you are and what class you're in is very helpful. eClass is very nice as well. Has its own messaging system. It's nice. It's super. It's pretty easy to use. eClass is overall a nice platform. Now, if you have a question, you can ask me. That's okay. But you can ask me on email or over eClass. The best way, though, I find, and this has been very helpful for many people, is post in the Q&A section on eClass. Now, just for example, here we are in Q&A. Now, nobody's asked a question yet, but Q&A, you can ask a question here. You don't need to post your name. It can be anonymous. So you just ask a question, I can answer the question. And the important part is, and the really nice feature, is that your classmates can see your question and see my answer. Because if you don't understand something, if you're confused on the homework, or confused on a test, on what's going on and what's going to be on the test, or you're confused on anything, if you're confused on it, most probably 10 other students are also confused by it. So it's helpful to ask a question, then everyone can see the answer. It has happened in the past where I get asked the same question by 5 different students through email, and they're all in the same class. So Q&A is a very helpful feature where you can ask questions, I can answer them, and everyone can see them, and everyone can gain by this information. That's nice. If you email or text me, you can expect a response by the end of the following day. I don't expect you to answer my questions at 2 a.m., and neither should you expect me to answer questions at 2 a.m. It's not. I'm sleeping. I'm going to be asleep. And also, I don't like invading your rest time. And your time is your time. So please be aware of that. I'm not going to answer questions instantly because I have other obligations as well. Now, for class, the requirements, I want you to think about this. You will be expected to attend each class. That's understandable. Participate in classroom activities and discussions. It seems you need to be an active member of the class. If you're passive, if you're overly passive, that's not going to help your development. Also, here, a positive attitude in class, a positive attitude, displaying a positive attitude. If you display a flat, a negative, or God forbid, a negative attitude in your lessons, well, that's not going to go well with students. So that it's something that you need to start practicing on. Even if you're a very negative person, like myself, my personality is very, very negative. But I can't have that in class. That's not going to work out well, especially with young children. So, yeah, so we got to pretend to have a positive attitude. Have interest and take interest. You need to, the more you give into this class, the more you'll get out of it. The same is true for all your classes. If you put in nothing, you'll get nothing. If you put in a lot, you'll get a lot. And also, here, make mistakes. We improve by trying things and failing, and then we learn from that experience. We have to, if we don't try, if we don't make attempts, then we will not get better. So, yeah, steel sharpens steel, as they say. You need to challenge yourself in order to improve. Let's talk about how grading will work for this class, for this semester. Now, usually, back in the before times, this university had a strict curve. Everything was graded on a curve. That meant that 20% of students could get A's. 20% of students must have received C or lower. So, and most students were allowed to get B's. So we had a strict ratio of how many students were allowed to get grades, regardless of their absolute grades, their final score. This was meant to help prevent grade inflation. And these past 3 semesters have proven that is a factor. So maybe it wasn't such a bad idea, but it is quite cruel. I haven't been told officially, but I expect that this semester will be like last semester and like the year before, where we are allowed to grade absolutely. The grade you get is the grade you get. There'll be no curving involved. But if something changes, I will keep you informed. But let's go over the details of what I'm going to be looking for in this class and what I'm going to be looking for from you and your efforts. Now, for this class, and in general for my classes, I grade on a progressive scale. That means throughout the semester and on this very first day, your score right now is 0. You have 0 points, absolutely 0. And as the semester goes on, you'll get points. You will gain points. I like to think of this like role-playing game. As in, you start your little character at level 1, and through playing the game, fighting monsters, completing quests, and doing all those nice, fun things, you get experience points, and you level up. This will hold true for this class as well. The more you do, the more you'll get. But conversely, also, the less you do, the less you'll get. Nothing comes from nothing, as they say. So this is, I think, a very healthy attitude. If you put in low effort, you'll get a low grade. That's to be expected. And just to elucidate a little bit, the baseline, the average is 75%. And for every project you are given, you will get an explanation of what to expect, describing what is an A grade, what is a B grade, what is a C grade. So you'll have an idea of what to do and if you can choose your grade. And in fact, I think that's an excellent thought. In this class, and in fact all your classes, you are choosing your grades, and you are choosing whether to work harder, do more work, put more time in, put more effort in, and get a higher grade. And you're choosing to get a lower grade in a trade-off for effort and time. That's your choice, and I respect that choice. But it is something to be aware of, that low effort will result in a lower score. I think that's fair, but we shall see how things pan out. But I think the metaphor using a video game, using RPG, is a very apt one. And I think that's a very healthy one to think of, that, the more that every day as you participate, every week rather, every class you participate, you show up, you complete tasks, you'll get more XP. And that XP will result in your final level, your final score. Let's go over some of the categories that we're going to be grading on. First, attendance. Now, with us being mostly online this semester, this should be easy peasy. But attendance is important. E-class can be a funny thing, so be careful with E-class. Be careful with making sure that you, so to speak, attend the entire class. There are time limits on the actual class time. Now, my lectures, my videos, they'll just be up on YouTube. You can watch those any ding-dang time you want. But the official attendance will be taken on the day of our regular scheduled class, whether it be Tuesday or Thursday. So make sure that you make the time to officially attend the class, and make sure you officially attend the entire period. Please don't start the video lecture at 11:20 p.m. That's living dangerously, because, what if and when I have more than 40 minutes of material, you won't be able to consume all of it before the next day, before the deadline, and that's a problem. So make sure you don't fall into that trap. Find the time earlier in the day. That will help you quite a lot to not lose silly points on for attendance. Now, for the 3 weeks that we're in person, if everything goes right, and I really hope it does, I don't expect this to be a problem because there's only 3 weeks. But we have class at designated time. If you are not in a seat ready for class at the time, you're marked as late or absent, as it may be. Doesn't matter if you put your bag down. Doesn't matter that your bag isn't going to take the test for you. You are. So you're the most important thing. So just be aware of that. That's not going to be, I don't think that'll be a big issue this semester. We're mostly online, so we're using online attendance. But please be aware of that. We're trying to maintain a sense of schedule and, regimented schedule at that. So we have attendance. That is a factor. I don't think we're going to have any Zoom classes. I think I prefer the asynchronous videos, lectures. If we had smaller groups, a class of 15 students, for example, we could have Zoom classes and be interacting. But with 20, 25, 30 students, it is unwieldy and it's not fun for anyone. So let's not worry about Zoom classes. But in the event that you have a Zoom class, I just want to throw it out there. Make sure you're in front of your computer, like in front of your camera. Camera's turned on. Don't just point. Don't just have your camera just break or have it pointed at a wall and you're not there. That's no good for anybody. That's quite insulting to everyone involved, including yourself. So don't do that. But I don't think that'll be an issue for us this semester. Participation assignments, that's going to be 20% of the grade. Now, participation in an asynchronous class, that's going to be a little difficult. It's going to be different. We're going to use the discussion boards on eClass. And being an active member of the class is important. And so the proportion of the final grade reflects that. To earn points in this category, you need to participate, be an active team member, ask and answer questions. Also, there will be assignments. These aren't projects, big projects. These are smaller projects, things that are just to get the juices flowing. And so this is quite important for us, to make sure that we're understanding. And we'll talk about this. So participation assignments have been combined this semester, and hopefully it proves fruitful. But assignments, this is going to be basically homework. We're not going to have homework every week, but sometimes you'll be fully informed when they happen and what they are. Nothing too stressful there, though. Quizzes. Now, quizzes are going to be a factor every week or most every week, short online quizzes. And this will help me keep informed and make sure that what's going on. If you, the students, the audience, are actually understanding the material. Since we're not able to interact, in person for most of the semester, I can't tell if you are understanding and comprehending or if you are not. So quizzes are there to help me understand what's working, what's not working, and how's it going. So quizzes are part of your grade, but they're a minor part. And really, if you attend the class and watch the video lectures, you'll have no problems with the quizzes. The quizzes will all be on eClass. They'll be mostly multiple choice just to make it easier for grading because they're going to be lickety-split, fast things. 5, 7 questions. Sometimes there might be only 3. The questions will be directly related to the class material of that week's lecture. They're there as a safeguard to make sure that students aren't just playing videos for the attendance and then not actually attending, not watching the video. I had problems with this before where some students at the end of the semester, they knew nothing. They hadn't actually watched anything. So it came time for the final test and project. They crashed and burned in spectacular fashion. And I don't want that to happen. I want you to succeed, and that's important. Next, we do have some tests. There'll be 2 large tests. Both will be on eClass. You will have time. There'll be a window for it. So the test will cover material we went over in class and the course book. Multiple choice, short answer, short essay, nothing too amazingly difficult, but it will all be directly related to what we've learning, and it's just there to make sure that we know what we're doing. I like to put a time limit on my test to make sure that you can sit down and get your test done in one go, in one sitting. So once you start one of my tests, you'll need to finish it in that time limit. You'll have enough time. You'll have 90 minutes or 120 minutes, plenty of time to do it. All the tests are going to be open book because obviously I can't pretend I can stop you. So the questions are going to be written in a way that assumes you can look at the book and look at the notes. So the questions will be a little harder, a little more difficult, because they're assuming that you know where to find the answers in the book. They are open book, but they are not open class, as in don't do the test with each other. That's no good. That's no good at all. I can't stop you from sharing information, but I have to trust you. And, I have to believe that, or else my faith in teaching deteriorates. So I have to. The test, nothing too stressful. Again, midterm, final test, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. There are going to be projects as well. A set number of projects, depending on how the semester is going. Should be one big project or two big projects, and this will be involved with directly teaching something or presenting something, as it depends on the class. So this will be actually more practical situations. You'll be given problems, given situations, and you'll need to make answers for them, present solutions to these problems. And so, because we're online, most unfortunately, you're going to have to be making video projects, but that's just how it must be. And we'll go over what that means. Make a video project, video lessons, video presentations, all those wonderful things as we continue along there. So let's talk about why pronunciation is important. Why making the correct sounds or making, understandable sounds is so important. I think, really, I can show you this. I could talk to you for hours, but I think this is the best example. Now, this is from 2012, a long time ago. This is back, my goodness, 8-9 years ago. You were in elementary school or what have you. But you can see here, Lotte welcomes you to its Summer Bitch Festival. Now, obviously, they didn't mean the word bitch. They meant beach. But this is the importance of pronunciation. One of the difficulties of pronunciation in English that Koreans have is that vowel sound. The I and E sound is a lot of Koreans have difficulty identifying that they are two separate sounds. And the difference between pronunciation between beach and bitch is just that, is the vowel sound there after the B. So, I don't want you to make this kind of mistake. Lotte, a big company, made this mistake. But you're smarter than that, so you won't make that mistake. But it is something to be aware of. Pronunciation does matter, because if we change the pronunciation, we say very different words. And that's a very, very, it's a very key thing. Now, looking at this graphic, this is the International Phonetic Alphabet. We're not going to use all these characters. This is for all the sounds. We'll use only some of these. But you can see here words like late, nasal, plosive, fricative, approximate, tap, flap, trill, lateral fricative, lateral approximate, lateral flap. You will learn what all these are. Basically, these are manners and places of articulation. And you'll learn what bilabial and labial dental are as we go along in class. But if I ask you, how many letters are in the English alphabet? How many letters are in the English alphabet? And you'll think, oh, yeah, it's easy. 26. Yeah, 26. I say, yeah, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on, so far till Z. There's 26 letters. If I ask you how many sounds are in the English alphabet, or how many sounds are in English, you'll need to think about that. How many different sounds are there? The answer is that there's, and this is the frustrating part, there's about 40 different sounds. Different pronunciation, different accents, different dialects have different sounds. So we have about 40. So there's 26 letters, but 40 sounds. Now, you know this. You see this when we have the letter A has different sounds. When it's at, with like the A and E sound. So we'll learn all about these, and you'll learn that for each sound, there is a different character we use. We'll really dive into this next week with a deeper explanation, but it is something I want you to start being aware of. Pronunciation, phonics, is not spelling. So it's something to be aware of. Pronunciation, phonics are not, it's not writing. So don't worry about spelling in this class for pronunciation, because they're different. They're different. So it's something to start to be aware of. And there we have it. It's just a short introduction of what we can expect. Starting next week, we'll really dive into proper lectures, and we'll be following the syllabus. So make sure you check the syllabus for our schedule, and we'll be talking about the different parts of speech, stress, intonation, connection, linking, all those fun things. Now, I'm going to ask you to answer a short question on eClass, a discussion question, and the very simple one is, what part of English pronunciation, of English speaking or listening, do you find difficult? So a very short, brief answer. You don't need to write a paragraph, just what do you find difficult about English pronunciation in your own words? And just as a note, these video lectures classes are scheduled on a particular day of the week. And so I don't want to give us too much time now for allowing attendance, but I also don't want to make it too little time. So the YouTube videos, of course, will be free to watch as much as, forever. They will never close. But for attendance purposes, the eClass session will close on the day of attendance. So we have class on Tuesday or we have class on Thursday. You'll have 24 hours to view the material. It will never be too much material. And if you want to review the material, of course, it will be available to you on YouTube, as well as all the other lecture notes. But for attendance purposes, you need to first view the video on the day, our scheduled day of the lecture. Next week, we'll start proper lectures and proper bits of homework and proper everything. But just the short discussion question as a task for this week, and then we'll see each other again next week to begin in earnest. Have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, and see you next time.